You know, a couple of months ago, I got a chance to talk about this TikTok trend that a lot of people were talking about back then. In fact, it became so huge that people were talking about it all over social media, and it became a major news story at the time. Well, here we are, months later, once again, talking about a new TikTok trend, but unlike last time, we're talking about a trend that people are actually committing to. I'm referring to the Devious Lick, in which allows students to, well, steal things from schools and actually commit very destructive tendencies in their own school. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here tonight we're going to be talking about that, all that, and more in this broadcast. So that's what it is, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, known as the Devious Lick, which is already a devious name, but anyhow, this is all for attention, folks. According to sources, reports have been emerging across the country that students in schools are actually stealing objects at the school itself. They're actually vandalizing school property by ripping apart soap dispensers, disassembling bathroom doors, and not only that, but also throwing red dye in the bathroom mirrors. Can you imagine this? How in the world can any student out there actually commit these acts? I mean, you're there to learn, right? You're going to be walking into school, you're going to be entering your classes, getting your homework done, doing all the classwork, and so on and so forth, and all of a sudden, for some stupid reason, these students are getting influenced by this TikTok trend to go into a bathroom and actually steal soap dispensers and so on. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. I mean, these kids are actually destroying the school property, and this is probably one of the most insane stories I've read all year long. First off, schools are supposed to be a safe environment where kids come in and learn stuff. This isn't some sort of playground that allows kids to do whatever they want, committing destruction and burglary, stealing things at any chance they get. I mean, this is ridiculous. These students are honestly transforming their own schools to their own personal playground, and quite honestly, they need to cut that out. This is actually angering me right now. Can you imagine that? A school that had nothing to do with all this stuff now being a victim of a trend on TikTok. This is ridiculous. And the poor teachers, too. The teachers, the staff members, the janitors, and so on and so forth are working tirelessly and trying to maintain a clean and professional environment, and yet the selfish kids they're not caring. They're going to continue these acts. They're stealing things and damaging in the property. They're actually stealing things and damaging the property. Can you imagine all this stuff happening to replace these items? As the old proverbial expression goes, money doesn't grow in trees. When all the items are actually stolen and damaged, the school has to pay for this stuff. I mean, they got to pay for all the stuff that they're damaging, and they got to replace the items and all that stuff. I mean, I don't understand why in the world this trend is really existing. I don't even understand why people are really starting to do this. I don't understand why people are saying that it's okay to do this. This is a very bad trend. People are talking about this as if it's okay. People are making fun of this entire trend. They're making jokes out of it. Can you imagine, though, being a worker at a school, tirelessly for that, by the way, doing all you can to try to make these kids succeed, and these kids are literally destroying their own school. It's ridiculous. I have to say, this is the most nonsensical subject. This is the most nonsensical trend that I've read, again, all year long. Unlike the other trend, which was dumb, people are actually committing stuff to this one. Can you imagine this? Of course, the students are not going to care. Nonetheless, we understand executives and superintendents and board members are doing everything they can to try to minimize the situation, but nonetheless, they can only do so much, and if this continues, one can only imagine what is next. By the way, why is everything originating from TikTok? I don't understand it. A couple of months ago, as I was alluding to, the April 24th trend. Now we're dealing with this Devious Lick trend, which is indeed a devious and destructive trend. But unlike the April 24th, people are actually participating in this challenge, and it's quite ridiculous. Anyhow, we have to show you some footage that we found regarding the news talking about this.
TikTok trend going in the wrong direction. It's happening in our local schools.
So this trend, you might have heard of it. It's called Devious Licks, and students have been recording themselves vandalizing and stealing school property. Fox 5's Paris Jones is looking into how it's affecting our area and has reaction.
Well, if you try to search Devious Licks on TikTok, this is the screen you'll get that says no results found. That's because TikTok has removed any content or hashtags related to the challenge. Either way, this has both parents and school officials concerned. It didn't take long for the latest TikTok trend to reach schools in the DMV. The result of the Devious Licks challenge, similar to what you'll see in schools across the U.S. Soap and paper towel dispensers ripped off of walls in the bathroom, damage to other school property, all for likes on social media.
it's so sad. I just don't understand why these children are turning to that kind of vandalism to express themselves.
It's very disappointing. I think it needs to be handled very quickly and with an iron hand.
And one parent in Prince William County who wanted to remain anonymous told me a kid at her son's school ripped a soap dispenser off of the wall and put it in the toilet. She also says there was another incident where several boys took a fire extinguisher from the school, used it outside, and posted it to their Snapchat. She says, I wish they could take a moment to think about how certain actions may affect their future and others around them. Several Fairfax County principals sending out letters to parents this week about the trend, like the principal of Falls Church High School asking parents to take some time to have a talk with their kids. The principal of Rocky Run Middle School also sent a letter to parents saying some students are damaging paper towel dispensers and stealing soap dispensers, which, quote, presents a challenge to maintaining a healthy and safe school environment. Fairfax County Public Schools says they're aware of several incidents of damage to school property related to the TikTok challenge. They say, quote, disciplinary action has and will be taken against those who participate. Now, Stafford County Public Schools is also dealing with this. A spokesperson told me today they're addressing it with the parents and school resource officers first, and when necessary, through the code of conduct. Back to you.
Well, of course, it blew out of proportion, and now it's making headlines. And at what cost? The cost at the money being lost and students setting a bad example, the cost of a major stain being left behind at these schools at the expense of the students committing these vicious acts. And if you're a student committing these acts, stop it right now. Just stop. I mean, what do you gain from this exactly? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. How about doing something good for once in life? Focusing on getting a good education, getting good grades, helping out your peers and teachers, cleaning up for yourselves, trying to set for a great example for everyone. Why would anyone want to stoop this low in destroying items and stealing them at school property? I don't get it. I mean, come on now, this is ridiculous, as my saying goes. I mean, I just don't understand why or how this originated. I'm not quite sure why this is blowing out of proportion. The more that people talk about this, of course, the more the students probably are going to get influenced to do this. But if you're watching this video, do not do it. Don't be this dumb, for lack of a better term. Don't do this. I mean, enough already. I mean, this school is not for you to rip apart things. This school is for you and your future, your education. I mean, I don't get why people are taking advantage of this stuff. And really, they're actually doing the opposite of what their parents are doing. It all gravitates to their parents. Hopefully the parents can try to step in and try to tell these students to stop. Anyhow, folks, we understand that there's a compilation of all these videos that we got to show you right now. It is quite disturbing to watch that people are literally doing this, and it's quite disturbing to see these students on camera literally doing it for TikTok. Take a look.